Hey, what's your problem, Shrek? What you got against the whole world anyway, huh?
Look, I'm not the one with the problem, okay? It's the world that seems to have a problem with me. People take one look at me and go, ah, help, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me.
Shrek reminds me very much of what being overweight felt like. I've been overweight for more than half my life. I didn't lose a significant amount of weight until I was around 16. I'm 24. I know I look 40. But anyways, then I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 20. Then I started losing weight. So simultaneously, I had a fear of both being too fat and being too skinny. Quite never feeling comfortable in my own skin, and that's something Shrek knows all too well. This movie taught me some lessons that I needed to hear years ago. One of the hardest parts of being overweight for me, it wasn't the weight itself or the health issues or anything like that. It was the deadpan stare. Basically everyone looking at you because of how you look. Walking through the school, the cafeteria, going to a restaurant, that stare, that feeling of just the whole world's watching me reminds me very much of Shrek. And everyone stares at him even before he says a word. I know that feeling personally. And trigger warning for anyone who's been bullied, because this isn't really a nice story. I just use it to convey a point. So I was 9, maybe 10 years old. Everyone in my grade was lined up. We were going into the cafeteria for lunch. Probably 50, 60 kids there. As we're going in, a kid yelled out, and I quote, "Shut up, Colin Fields, you need the exercise." Now, I'll be honest, I don't know what caused him to do this. It could have been a variety of circumstances, but yes, it was dead silent. Yes, he got in trouble, and yes, everyone stared at me. At that moment, it felt like every pair of eyes in existence were just looking at me simply because of the way I looked. Telling someone they're overweight is like telling a blind person they can't see. They know.
Can't you watch where you're...
No.
Right. Sorry.
Like, if you think someone needed to hear that, your intelligence concerns me, just being honest. So after that comment, I started skipping lunch. I didn't go to the cafeteria. I didn't eat. Not because I wasn't hungry, but I was already overweight and fat. And the last thing I needed was people staring at an overweight individual who was fat eating lunch. Now, another scene that always just hits home for me is Shrek sitting by himself eating dinner. When you're bullied, you tend to not have many friends. So when I was younger, I would often eat alone or I would eat lunch by myself. This habit went from elementary school to middle school, and it got so bad that middle school and high school, my school counselors, they felt bad for me. They said, you know what, just you can eat in my office when I'm not here, or I'll just be grading papers and other teachers will come by just to check in on you as you're eating lunch, which is cool. If you spend enough years eating lunch by yourself, sadly, you adapt to being alone. And you start to tell yourself, okay, I don't mind being alone, or maybe it's not that bad. This is like Shrek convincing himself that he's all good. He's a lone wolf. This is my swamp. No diddy. But that can be true for some people. They can just naturally be introverts. But sometimes I wonder if I convince myself of that because it felt less painful than admitting that you're lonely because you don't have friends. And as you spend enough years sitting by yourself, you start asking questions. What would life be like if you were skinny? How would people treat you differently? You know, on YouTube, you're daydreaming. Just life outside of being fat was an escape that I would think about constantly. Finding some sort of escape is why this scene hits me so hard, because I don't see someone eating dinner by themselves. I see someone who's trying to convince himself that he's okay being alone when he clearly isn't. It's an escape from reality, or at least a submission to a false reality. The final thing I do love about Shrek is Donkey. Not just for comedic effect.
Can I stay with you?
What?
Can I stay with you, please?
But the movie slowly reveals the answer to Shrek's problem. So he's been rejected by society, or he's just been rejected for how he looks for so many years that it's a genuine shock when Donkey doesn't run away from him, as this scene shows.
Take a look at me. What am I?
Really tall?
No! I'm an ogre. You know, grab your torch and pitchforks. Doesn't that bother you?
Nope.
Really?
Really.
Oh.
That line always stands out to me. The thing that generally kept me probably from doing something dark that I can't talk about on YouTube for obvious monetization reasons, but probably what kept me going throughout school was having family and friends treat me consistently regardless of my weight. That's basically what Donkey does for Shrek.
Listen, you was really something back then. Incredible.
Donkey didn't care about what the world said. He just saw a person and he literally saw a friend.
But you gotta have friends.
Stop singing!
Sometimes people refusing to treat you like the world can literally change your whole life like it does with Shrek. Because if someone likes you only if you're skinny, or if someone likes you because you're overweight, because that's the thing. I'm not gonna touch it, but If their acceptance is conditional based on how you look, then it was never built on anything that lasts. Stay tuned for that in phase 2. But yeah, the best thing I love about Shrek is that it's not that people just stop seeing a monster, but Shrek slowly realizes that he's more than what the world calls him.
Look, I'm not the one with the problem, okay? It's the world that seems to have a problem with me.
The movie even says,
Ogres are like onions.
it's funny, but also in this case, it's very much true in the real world because people are layered. They're rarely black and white or 2D. They're very complex and not as simple as the world sees them. So Shrek reminds me that the world may decide who they think you are.
They judge me before they even know me.
But the right people will always take time to discover you for who you really are.
You know what? When we met, I didn't think he was just a big, stupid, ugly ogre.
Yeah, I know.
So I think everyone deserves someone who's going to treat us the same unconditionally, regardless of our physical features. That was a huge lesson I could have learned years ago, but you know, never too late. So that's pretty much it. This is the second to last episode before we finish this phase. I do not want to bum you out. Not to get dark, I just want to show what these movies mean to me and like how they kind of help me get through hard times as a kid. As I say for all these videos, this is just a personal trainer geeking out over a fandom. I take everything I say with a gram of protein. And as always, remember to stay mentally fit, emotionally fit, and physically fit. Thank you for your time, and I will see you all in the next lesson.
You know what else everybody like? Parfaits.